Yo, welcome back to another Sunday night episode of the Shay Show Live. I am your host, Shay. Welcome. We have a awesome show lined up for y'all tonight. Awesome show. I'm so excited. As always, I have my Shay Show mug. My camera blurry. Got my Shay Show mug. As always, ask me how to get you one, and I'll make sure I get you one. How y'all doing tonight? It's Sunday. And as you all know, it is time for the Shay Show live. If you are watching live right now, let me know in the comments, y'all. Let me know in the comments if you're watching. As right before I get ready to introduce my co-host. Let me know if you're watching right now. If you are watching right now, please go ahead and share this video. Share this video, like this video, tell some people to come on and watch it. Like I said, I have my Shay Show mug. And I won't tell you what I'm drinking until I get a sponsorship from these people because I drink a lot of their products. If you are in the comment section or if you're watching the video, tell me you're watching. Let me know you're watching. Missy said, "Hey, cuzzy, because I don't want to hear your mouth." Exactly. So before we get into this video tonight, I just want to go ahead and give everybody a disclaimer. Tonight's episode is too hot for live because tonight's episode is going to be a little bit crazy. You know, in true Shay Show fashion, tonight is going to be crazy. And this is not your typical Shay Show episode tonight. I have a special guest. And if you are actively watching the Shay Show and you're reading the comments and you're watching the live, you know that he is no stranger to the Shay Show. And he definitely gets the pot stirring. So I'm going to introduce him in a few minutes. My guest co-host for tonight. I'm going to introduce him. But if you are watching right now, I see a couple people watching. Go ahead and drop in the comments and let me know that you're watching so I could give you a shout out really quick. And, you know, I have to do like a behind the scenes of like what's going on with the Shay Show before I get started, because it seems like every week when I get ready for the show, something weird happens about 15 to 10 minutes right before I get started that has me going crazy. So I'm gonna explain to y'all a little bit later what happened. But yes, if you are in the comments and you're watching the show right now, drop it in the comments. And you know what? The Oscars is on tonight, and I said, you know what? I'm not canceling the Shay Show for the Oscars. I'm competing with the Oscars right now. But we got a fantastic show. I never used the word fantastic. I don't even know why I said that. that's that's not even a shade word. I feel like my camera might be just a little bit blurry, y'all. I can't tell. You watching Beyonce? I know I'm missing Beyonce right now, but I gotta compete with the Oscars right now. I can't cancel because they're on. So before we get started, like I said, I want to give a disclaimer. This is not your typical Shay show. If you are offended by somewhat strong language and adult type conversations, this might not be the episode for you tonight. And I'll catch you next Sunday. And it is blurry. Okay. So I'm gonna fix that blur really quick. Let me see if I can fix that blur. I think I got the blur is fixed. So thank you guys for watching and waiting for me. All right, let me go ahead and get my co-host on here with me. I got to tell y'all what he did, y'all, in a little bit later. But this is one of those elements, and I would just bring them on, y'all. Um, this guy started off as a co-worker with me, and we might tell y'all what we did for work later in the show tonight. But he started off as a co-worker and grew to be so much more, like a friend, a brother, just an all-around good person. But he definitely stirs the pot, y'all. Give it up for my co-host tonight, the crazy, the ridiculous, and the over the top, VaDayle.
Well, thanks for
If the budget was up, we would have a little audience, whatnot. But thank you so much for joining me, V. I call him V. This is VaDayle. VaDayle, go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit to the people.
Well, hey guys, I'm VaDayle, but as Evan says, I go by V. Like Evans also said, well, I call him Evans Rache, Rache, whatever he calls himself nowadays. But anyway, like you said, we met at a job that we used to do back in the day that we might disclose today. And from then we've become, great friends, brothers, and I've been a part of his family, now
Absolutely.
sometimes I'm kicked out due to other situations, but we won't that, you know. He's a great guy, man, and I'm glad we're here today to host the show. Disclaimer: I'm not as bad as he makes it seems with all of
Crazy.
this, but we're gonna have a great show today.
All right, y'all. This is V. And any questions, any random type question. V, I got to put this stuff on the screen so you can see. I don't know if you can see the comments, but if you have any just random, V, tell them a little bit about that shirt you got on.
Sorry, Missy. I didn't intend to wear this shirt. I'm not super Greeky as some people are, but unfortunately, I'm currently in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm on a road trip to visit some other bros out here for my fraternity, Omega Psi Phi. And there's a time gap, which is
Ooh,
why it's livid at me today because the show starts at 8, and here it's only 7 o'clock. So I thought I had time to change.
okay, I had to let VaDayle know that I'm not his manager. Like I don't keep up with his time zones and where he at.
So
I spoke to this man around 2 o'clock Eastern time, and we talked about it. I was like, at 7:30, we're gonna get together and we're gonna, make sure we just run over a few things before we go on live. I called this man about 10 minutes before we supposed to go online. I was like, "Are you ready?" He talking about it's six. VaDayle, we go on in less than 10 minutes.
I was a minute late. And see how quickly God humbles you for shunning other people. I get up here a minute late and his camera's not even together. So look,
Because I was stressed right before it was time to go on. I couldn't perfect everything because I'm just wondering, like, where my co-host at? I'm calling him, he ain't answer. Typical VaDayle.
I'm here now though. I was a minute late. I'm sorry. I've signed into this. I've signed into this show and there was no host available. But I'm gonna drink my imaginary.
Oh, you gotta have your official Shay Show cup.
Now that I can actually talk to you, why the hell are you always drinking that cup? I mean, is your throat just that dry, or what's going?
Drinking out of this cup or drinking?
Drinking out of that cup. What is it about that
I'll
cup?
tell you. First of all, shout out to Jocelyn. She put these cups together. They are for sale. I have them. I was about to say on my website. I don't even have a website. Coming
This,
soon. But Jocelyn made these cups for me. So this is some selfless promo every week. I'm plugging these cups. I actually did sell a few of them, and I did have a request for a couple people who wanted them. But
how could I get one of those? I'll buy one.
I got you one. I'm gonna send you one. Shout out to you for co-hosting the show. But like I said about the disclaimer, y'all, the conversations that we're about to have tonight may offend some people. So if you are easily
It's
offended,
the truth. It won't anybody.
well, your truth may not be my truth, or vice versa. I still didn't get mine. You still didn't send your hit my cash app, Missy, and I got you. But I gave V the task of coming up with the topics for tonight. I let V have that responsibility, and he has some really good topics that we're gonna tackle tonight. So let's go ahead and get started. Stay active in the comment sections if you have questions or if you have any concerns or if you agree or disagree or even if you want to get on here live with us and argue your point or address something that was said. Absolutely able, absolutely available. And anyway, I'm gonna leave some information on how to get Pooh or Jocelyn to make you something. I will leave her information out here. Creator out of Durham. Shout out to her. She is very talented. She got a lot of stuff that she sells and services that she offers. So I will be putting that in here. Shout out also to Jameson Bethay for the design, the logo, everything, the Shay Show. Shout out to Jameson and his brand. And it's a collaborative effort over here at the Shay Show. I don't do it all by myself. So V, let's go ahead and get started. And
Do it.
what's that?
Let's do it.
Let's go ahead and get started with one of the topics you had today, and I'll let you lead into that.
Okay, Mr. Host, I have a question for you.
Oh,
Uh,
me.
Yeah, absolutely. You and the audience. So, recently we had a very unfortunate situation where a roller coaster accident occurred, and unfortunately, if I'm not mistaken, I believe a 14-year-old kid lost his life due to falling out of a seat on the ride. And I just want to know from your perspective and the audience perspective, who would you put at fault for this accident? Like who takes culpability here and why?
Mm, I guess so. I guess I'll go ahead and get started. I've seen a lot of comments online about who should be at fault, and I even had some comments in some group sorry group chats that I'm in. At the end of the day, it's not the writer's responsibility to govern or police or supervise. As a writer, I'm just supposed to be I'm an attendee at the park. It's the park and the attendee's position to tell me if I'm not suitable to ride the ride. It's your responsibility to. I didn't work there. I don't know what the rules are. I don't know what the weight capacity is. I don't know what the height capacity it is. Otherwise, we wouldn't need attendees to work there if we should govern it ourselves.
That's a great point. Well, let me cut you off and ask a question. At what age did you start staying at home by yourself without a parent when you were in school?
I don't know if legally my folks want me to say this. No, I'm just playing. But I probably was staying at home probably under 10 years old.
Under 10 years old. Do you have any family or relatives who have kids either younger than that or slightly older than that watch their younger brother or sister?
Younger than 10 years old
Yeah,
watching.
maybe younger than 10. Let's say 16 or younger. Do we have any family members or yourself as a 16-year-old that watch younger siblings while the parents go to work?
Absolutely.
So are you admitting here that a person younger than the age of 16 is fully capable and responsible enough to not only watch themselves, but to watch their younger siblings while not burning down the house, while preparing food, and while not harming their younger siblings, correct?
Yes.
Just a yes or no. So, with that being the case, is there any onus or responsibility on the 14-year-old? I mean, you just explained to me that people under the age of 16 make adult decisions all the time. So why wouldn't the 14-year-old have any responsibility in the tragedy that he was a part of?
Okay. I, I see the angle you're going for, but what part of the responsibility was it for a child to make an adult decision?
Don't do the child adult
I mean,
decision.
'cause that's what he was. He was a
You
child.
just told me that you watched your younger self as
But
well.
that was at my parents' discretion, or
But what I'm saying is your parents saw that you as a 14 or 15-year-old were able to make reasonable decisions, correct?
in that manner, yes.
So although this was a
Marriage
ride,
said, "G about to eat you alive."
no, look, Doug, you as you said, you are an attendee at the park, and I get that. I would be pissed if I was a parent
Right.
because my child came here. It is the person's job working the riding, operating it to make sure that I am fully locked in and engaged. But we're also not going to sit here and take away some of the idea that the 14-year-old should not have blame and the parents as well. Because I watched the video, I looked at some of the pictures, and in the picture, it looked like the kid wasn't strapped in. Did
Hmm.
the kid not have enough sense to say, I'm not strapped in, I don't need to get on this ride? We get in cars every day and kids make sure they're strapped in. This kid played sports, he went to school, he did all of those things. So for people to not give any blame to the 14-year-old is completely unreasonable to me. Now, if we're looking on a scale of 100,
Blame?
if
I
if
don't think
if we're
blame
looking
is
at
the word.
100,
I don't think blame is the
but
appropriate word
scale of 100,
because, and let me just cut you right
go
here.
ahead.
When my parents left me at home to watch myself or my siblings, we did not have a 300-foot exhibit in our living room
Had a oven that could blow up, right?
that could possibly result to possible death. Maybe they wouldn't have left me at home if we had a 300-foot exhibit in the house that could
So
potentially.
did your parents have knives in the house? Did you
Sure.
cookware? Did you have an oven, sockets to plug anything in?
Absolutely.
So they felt you had enough sense to not make certain decisions at that age, correct? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
All I'm saying is if we're looking at a scale of 100, you can't possibly say that we don't give the child.
But here's the thing.
No, wait, let me finish. Some part of the blame. I'm not blaming him that he fell out of a ride. I don't want you or the audience to misunderstand or misinterpret. The people who owned the ride and operated it is fully responsible. But what I'm also trying to get you to see is that if there's 100% blame to to disperse, to some degree, the kid has to be held accountable in terms of you have to know right from wrong to a certain degree. You knew that you weren't strapped into a roller coaster ride that was going 400 and something feet
But
into.
here's the thing. Who's to say what's strapped in? He did not work for them. He did not make the ride. He doesn't. He's still a child.
But
Theoretically,
I get
yeah.
that.
And here's the thing, to go back to what you said about like if at your when your parents left you home, yes, if something was to happen to you at home while your parents left you unattended, regardless of not if you were home by yourself, the parents would still have to take ownership for what happened to you, because at the end of the day, it's still a child. It doesn't matter if you know what the circumstance is. If something happens to a child after being theoretically neglected by a parent,
So I just seen a
it's going to
comment.
go back on the child. Sure, the kid shouldn't. Maybe the kid knew that he should not have been touching the stove, but if something was to happen to that kid alone, regardless, that parent would have to take ownership for it.
I agree. I just seen a comment from, Ashley. She said that, it's unfair to blame the 14-year-old. I 100% agree that it's unfair to blame the 14-year-old. We also live in a world that isn't fair. I'm about accountability and transparency. So when I say that the people who operated the ride, the people who owned the ride should be held accountable and sued to the highest degree, that's fair for anyone to say. But I also know that you have to ask yourself, could the 14-year-old have did anything or done anything to prevent the accident, to prevent it? And when you tell me that he's going on a roller coaster ride at the age of 14, everyone around him is strapped in, and he's not strapped into the ride. Sure, someone could have came and checked him and said, you're not strapped in. I blame that person. But what I'm saying is do we not look at the 14-year-old and say, you could have made a different decision as well. And the only reason why I can say that is because we've all been 14 and 15 before, and we've had to make adult decisions. So while all 14-year-olds don't work on the same brain capacity or thinking capacity, I understand that. But it is beyond me that we don't look to say, yo, you made a bad decision as well. That's all I'm getting at is that.
I get the angle, but something in me, I just can't. I can't put this on that kid, because here's the thing: as an adult, if
It,
as an adult, I make the decision to drive a car every day. As an adult, I also expect that if I hit something, that my airbag should deploy. I it's not on me to to ensure that the airbag is going to deploy or that the brakes are going to work. If I press the brakes, I'm hoping that they would work.
Evans, do you know?
Because that's why my car is inspected. That's why it's the responsibility of the person working at the
We're
exhibit to
all
make
pointing
sure.
out obvious, right? Here again, like we got to think about yourself in a household. When I drive, it is the responsibility of other drivers on the road to practice safe driving, correct? But I don't just rely on you as a driver on the road. I'm scared of all of you. So I look to make sure that I stop at a stop sign and I look twice to make sure no one's running it. I go to a red light, and when it turns green, I wait a few seconds afterwards because I want to make sure that there's not another driver that's going to run through the red light. So I take the extra precautions.
But here's the thing: how old are you?
My point exactly is that at the age of 14, you
But
still have to think logically about some things. So I
the
want to,
wisdom that and the knowledge that you have in your
we can't
20s
the
is
kid,
not the
not
same.
with the
Just
he's a
think
kid.
about it. That child was 14 years old, right?
And you guys do not goo goo gaga 14
10
year old.
years old. 10 years ago, he was 4. I can't expect him.
Evan, my little sister is 15. She stays at home by herself, as well as all of my little cousins that I grew up with. We all watched ourselves when we came home from high school. We knew not to open the door. We knew not to turn on the stove. We knew not to put silverware and shit like, excuse me, and stuff like that into the microwave. We knew not to do all of that. I
Right.
know when to come home, when I stayed outside before the street lights came on. While all of that is true, I do not blame the 14-year-old. But
Right.
what I'm saying is, if your kid went out and did something wrong, we got to stop blaming everyone else for some things that are preventable. Should the person working the station have checked the kid? 100% agree. I 100% agree with that. But what I'm also saying is that that kid knew he was not strapped in, and he decided to make a decision to stay on the ride. If the kid would have lived and wouldn't have been hurt, it would be a success story. They'd be bragging about it. Someone would be okay with the fact, yo, he survived the ride. But the fact that a casualty happened, now we're going to freak out about it. I pray and I'm sorry for the family. I think
Mhm.
they should sue. I think all of those things. I am with the side of the family, but I'm also not going to say that the person in the seat at the time did not feel the need to think, yo, I'm not strapped into this ride. That's just me. Now, my next question here about the same incident that I want people to answer is, there's been a lot of uproar about the video being, placed on social media and going viral. I have an opinion about that as well. And I want to ask you, Evans, as well as the audience, is it okay for this video to be out? And if it's not, why not?
I absolutely feel like it's disgusting for that video to be circulating online because at the end of the day, his family should not have to endure that. His family and friends should not. And I was disturbed after seeing it actually. To see that like visually was really distasteful for somebody to upload that. Really
So
nasty.
let me ask you this. Why is it distasteful for this video to be uploaded, but we live in a social media world? We see videos every day, every second uploaded, whether it's women twerking, whether it's guys fighting, whether it's a shooting in the club, whether it's George Floyd being killed live on camera. Every day, like, that's the world we live in. Everything is desensitized to the point where we're okay with it. What's so bad about this video being up, viral for people to see? This has been going on for the last 8 to 10 years in a viral world. What is the uproar about the video? I don't see people get mad and say when a white lady is going off on, you know what I mean? Like, we want to
Mhm.
highlight and bring awareness to certain things we want to, and I hate this popcorn society where we pick and choose when this isn't okay, but that's okay. No one asked George Floyd's video to be taken off of the internet.
I mean, the thing about it is, it's when it comes to that, that's just a matter of opinion and taste. It's not against the law to upload and post things like that. I do think I thought personally, I believe it was distasteful. It was too soon. His family is still, mourning. Everything is fresh. To be on the internet and possibly see your family member falling to their death, it's just wrong to just have it up there like that. I mean, some things you should have some type of class. And, God forbid, you wouldn't want to see anything like that going online. And as a grown person, I was really disturbed seeing it.
Hey, I'm sorry to whoever in the
But
comments feels that, you're highly upset about this conversation. But again, there are multiple sides to every story. And while, again, I do blame and place the people working the ride responsible, that's a given. We put that out there. But I'm not going to, I'm never going to raise my kids to feel like they're totally free or scot free. I grew up in a household on accountability. You get what I'm saying? So for me, there were things that other people did that I also had to have my own control of. When my friends did bad things, I didn't get to just say, well, I'm 12, let me make a bad decision because this is what 12-year-olds do. I held my own self, as well as my family held me to a standard to say, well, let's make a different decision. So all I'm saying is we don't know if the kid knew if he was strapped in. We don't know if the kid knew that he wasn't strapped in, whatever the case may be. All I'm saying is that we can't totally exclude the idea that maybe the kid knew or didn't know that he was strapped in. But again, I do feel like in the world we live in, we see videos of the most horrible, horrendous actions and things every single day. This is what the world we live in today. So I'm not necessarily mad at the video.
yeah,
This is
I
the world
personally would have preferred not to have seen it. I didn't know that I was going to see that when I was just scrolling on Twitter. I didn't know what I was watching, and then I just seen it happen, and I kind of just scrolled away quick because um, I wasn't prepared to see that, and was a very heartbreaking story, and everybody felt that. So to just see it visually, just at the end of the day, people have their opinions on whether it should be posted, shouldn't be posted. Well, we can't control it in this day and age. It's social media. Soon as something happens, it's going online, for everybody to see. So it's just a matter of personally how you feel.
Absolutely. So
At the end of the day, I feel like, and I mean, I guess the thing about it, or the thing that's probably disheartening to everyone who feels like they can't believe your angle, I guess it's because the kid is not here to speak. It's a life gone, so we'll never know if he knew that his harness wasn't clicked in, or we'll never know if he intentionally didn't buckle in. We'll never know, and I think that's the heartbreaking part. That is, we'll never know. Was he really up there not knowing? We'll never know, and that's the part that makes it tough.
right, for sure. So, that being said, I say, we're just going to be on two different spectrums here. So if you want, you can introduce the next topic.
If we don't know, why is it being assumed that the kid knew he wasn't strapped in? At the end of the day, the overseer should have done their job. Agreed. Yes, it was, at the end of the day, everybody feels the way they feel, but it's nothing, it's a life loss, and we definitely send condolences to his family. I don't, we all agree on that it was um, a tragic incident that we wish didn't happen. It's part of the reason why I do not partake in rides and stuff like that. And people say stuff can happen to you anywhere. That is true, but I don't play around with stuff like that because things like that can happen. And we can leave this topic alone, but there's malfunctions happening in man-made things all the time. Seatbelts unbuckling, brakes giving out. You never know what happened. He could have been locked in. It could have come up while he was up there. Who knows? We only seen it when we seen it. You'll never really know. But it was just really sad to see a young person, anybody pass like that tragically.
Right on.
But we'll move on for that. And condolences to his family. Um, yeah, let's move on from that. V sent some questions in, and I'm just gonna randomly pick a question that I see. Yeah, T, I don't ride them either, and I just don't. I just don't. Huh?
I said me either. I'm scared of roller coasters.
Yeah, roller coasters, water slide. I just don't do none of that stuff because I am one of those people who, if I could possibly go from it, I don't play with it.
Right.
And last year, our family was on vacation, and my cousins and my siblings talked me up like, Jay, let's do this. And I literally went all the way up and was about to get on a ride, and something in me just would not allow me to do it. It's not me. I don't do those. I waited on the ride probably like an hour with the rest of them. When I got up to the top, I was like, I don't do this. I'm not doing it. I went all the way back downstairs and I held all of their bags and I ain't had no problem with it. I just don't do that. Okay. Topic number 4. Should a relationship be 50-50 or should the man be the sole provider?
It's a great question.
Should a relationship be 50-50 or should the man be the sole provider?
So for me personally, I see this topic a lot on social media and I see a lot of responses to it. And I would love to say that it depends on the two people in a relationship. I'm very much so a circumstantial, situational thing. I desire to be a guy to one day provide for my household solely, but I also understand how to get there. So I am not mad at people that do 50-50, 70-30, things of that nature. I don't believe that we have to feel pressure due to social media and society today to say you don't have the right man because he doesn't pay all the bills. Or, if it helps you to pay the rent and she pays the light bill, or, helps with the cable, I'm totally okay with that. But I think it's foolish to make a male feel pressure that's not able to do 100% of the things. And I mean, there are a lot of women who want to be taken care of, and I don't knock women for, wanting that, but
Mhm.
I don't necessarily believe a relationship should be solely on a man. I think that it should be 50-50, 70-30, or whatever works for those people until that man is able to get,
Yes,
you
I agree. I agree with that completely. Like you said, one day I would love to be the sole provider. When, hopefully that day it comes and it comes soon. I would love to be the sole provider of my household and, take care of everything. But I think society puts, like you said, society puts a lot of pressure on the man to pay all the bills and the woman to just do whatever. And I don't know what it is, how that works, but and there's lots of celebrities who actually speak that rhetoric. If a man ain't paying all the bills, then
right,
you need a new man or you need a different man. And I just don't agree with that because
real high, you know. But the question for you, Evans, as well as to the women in the comments that want to respond here. What is your thoughts,
look at Missy,
stay at home husband, right? What is your thoughts on a stay at home husband?
stay at home husband.
Do women want that? Are you guys okay with having a stay at home husband?
There's some legit stay at home husbands.
Could you be a stay at home husband, Evans?
Only if my girlfriend slash wife is rich.
So her being rich would still spark you to want to be a stay at home husband.
Absolutely. Not if we rich, I'm not going to work for nobody. But here's
So,
the
but
thing.
but as a
But when I say I'm not going to work for nobody, I have an entrepreneurial spirit. I have, endeavors that I want to work on. I'm just saying that if we were in a financial spot where we were wealthy, I'm not going to work for nobody. I would definitely, I have businesses that I want to start now. I would definitely always contribute. But if we're at a certain place financially where we're good, money is not an issue. We inherit or we win the lottery. Of course, I'm going to be a stay at home daddy.
I'm not mad at that.
This is an outdated assumption. The glass ceiling is broken. Plenty of women make more money than men. That is true.
Wait. So are we saying that plenty of women make more money than men, right? Okay. So with that being said, plenty of women make more money than men. So that just drew me somewhere else. What does that do for women today? Let's talk about those independent women that make more money than men. What is it about making more money than men makes you decide to market yourself as so independent and driven to say, I don't need a man? What is this I don't need a man thing? I don't need anyone to take care of me because, I got my own. Why is that a thing? Evans, while people comment if they choose to, where do you feel that comes from?
Um, I don't know where it comes from, but it's definitely been a thing, in the last 20 years. I think, well, I do know where it comes from, actually. There was a time where women weren't able to work. There was a time where women were stay at home moms. They took care of the family while the men took care of the house. And there was a certain power that men had over women because they were the financial support of the household. So there was a time where the women came up and it was like, hey, we don't need y'all. We can provide for ourselves. We don't need y'all to take care of us. That question can go. There's also, we talked about this several times where there's a lot of women in relationships that carry the household,
For sure.
carried the household financially, you know, whether the father was present or the father wasn't in the house, the women, women for the most part always held the house down or always looked after the house. So there was like an uprising in women's, like the women's movement, where we don't need a man to take care of us, or we don't need a man to provide for us.
Right. So let me cut you off and ask a question, Evans. Women always make a statement that men are intimidated by successful women. Is it that men are intimidated by successful women, or is it that women go out their way to impose their successful nature on men, which then kind of creates a disconnect there?
It's both. It's both. And let me just say this before we go further in the conversation. Um, if at any time anybody wants to join us on live, I'll be glad to send you an invitation. Joe, would you like to join us on live? Because I see you in the comments, and you comment. If you would like to join us on camera on live, oh, no wonder. If you would like to join us on live, that would be awesome. We would love to have a conversation with you tonight. Anytime that anybody wants to join us, they have an opinion on something that we're talking about, that would be awesome. But I think it's both. I think that there are men who are intimidated of women who make more money than them. And then I know that there are some women who, you know, okay, Joe, I'm going to send you an invite. But yes, we all know that there's some men that are intimidated by women who make more money.
It just seems to me that, and this isn't like what I feel is law, but I think the more women in today's society put their sole focus on being successful, whether it's chasing a degree or chasing a business, I almost feel like it makes them less marketable in terms of the traditional marriage and family structure in the household. I think it just causes a disconnect there. Like what I mean by that is sometimes I think we have to ask ourselves what it is we desire. Are we looking for the family structure, the happy wife, husband, all of that, or are we looking to just be strong, driven, successful, independent women? And I think those two clash too often to the point that I almost feel you can't really have both at the same time. 9 out of 10 bases. I think it's you got to almost pick your poison there on what you really want.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. It just seems like a thing today.
Um, Bonnie Green Turner said, "I was raised up to be an independent woman. Always know that I can handle my business if a man decides to walk away from the family." Exactly. And I told you, like, that's a lot of that is where we got how we got to where we are now, because a lot of women have had to be the backbones of the black family. And we'll talk about the black family because we're black and that's the experience that we have. But there has been a lot of women, from our mothers, aunts, cousins, sisters, grandmothers, who have had to carry the family in spite of our fathers, grandfathers, uncles. They've had to carry the family, and that's kind of where that comes from, where women have had to be. They can't be the man in woman, but they definitely have had to be the woman, the the financial support of the family, the responsible one, the parent. So that's where that comes from. I think a lot of the single successful woman has probably had those situations where she success pretty much defined her, as
Right.
opposed, I don't need a man for anything. I can provide for myself, I can take care of myself. I don't need a man to come in and provide for me and take care of me, because I can do it myself. So I definitely understand where you're coming from with that angle, because that is definitely a real thing. Joe, I'll go ahead and let you get set up and then I'll add you in. But yeah, have you well, I know I can't never I know V gave me specific instructions, but I mean, I don't know where you are with this, V, but have you ever had to deal with um, a woman pretty much throwing her success on you as a flex or?
I don't allow it. So I've never had to deal with it, right?
Mhm.
Because I'm comfortable, in my own place. I haven't always, been where I'm at today, which I'm still trying to climb, higher on the totem pole. But, whether I made 7.25 an hour, when I did at some point in time in my life, I still carried myself as a man because I don't just validate myself off my income. See, that's the other problem is that look at celebrities every day who are unhappy and they have some of the richest, husbands and boyfriends and everything in the world. So where I lacked in the financial part of things, I brought other things to the table to try to compensate there so that, that wouldn't really be a thing. So I would never feel intimidated by a woman that makes more money than me or is more successful than me because there's certain things that she can't do for herself that I can. So I like the same way there's certain things that I can't do for myself, and that's where a woman comes into play. So until they find a way to get rid of men, there's always a need for me, or there's always a need for men. That's just how I look at it.
I like it. I like it. I'm about to bring Joe on really quick. Let me find her comment really quickly. But yeah, I like that, V.
Hey man,
At the end of the day, if we're throwing our resumes down in the house and our then we got a different problem. I just feel like your bit, my bit, we bring it together. We got a lot, you know.
women women forget that men are a prize as well. I get so tired of that. I'm the prize. Chase me. I get so tired of that.
Hold that
I am.
thought, B.
Huh?
We got that goes into a different segue of another question you have. I'm gonna bring Joe on really quick so we can talk with her. Hey,
Hello, can y'all hear me?
yes, we can.
Okay, I have my beats in, but they didn't connect, so let me take them out.
Okay, Beats.
So, just to comment a little bit on what I was saying, because y'all know I'm in HR,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm all for, you know,
Glad you brought that up, which helps agree with some things we talked about earlier. Go ahead.
um, just to say, when I grew up, it was, women, you didn't get as much education, you stayed at home, you took care of the kids, you made sure the house was taken care of. So with my comment, what I was saying is, yes, I feel like that the men is supposed to take care of the household now is outdated because now we're definitely in a new time. We have women's movement, women empowerment. We have fought for equal pay and those things that can also make us contribute. So, my perspective is one, you determine what you're willing to do. So even if a woman is presenting herself as, hey, I want to be taken care of, then, that may not be the person for you. Because one thing I can say too, in a marriage, it doesn't matter who makes more money because the money is for the household.
Mm-hmm.
It's a partnership. So I know now people tend to get into relationships. They may not be where they either person is, whether it be the man or the woman. They could still be in school. They could still be, trying to find the job that they need. So yeah, at that point it may be, hey, you cover the rent, I'm gonna cover the lights, you pay. But once you get married and you're in that household together, the income is for the family. So
Right.
it's not as much as, hey, you make more money, I make less, I need my nails done, I need my hair done, because that's all for the family.
I agree 100%.
And I don't raise, like, I raise my son, he's 18, and I do raise him to, if you go out, you pay, birthdays, holidays, you buy a gift. However, if you're not married, don't invest so much because you can lose a lot if the relationship doesn't work out and you've invested, money and time and, you know, you could be starting over. I've seen that happen.
Right. When you said you raised your son, so just as I don't want to assume when he goes out he pays. Were you speaking on if he goes on a date?
Yes, like when him and his girlfriend go out, you open the car door.
Why do
You
you
know,
why did you set that precedent that he goes
just out.
out to pay?
Huh?
Why do you feel that when he goes on a date he should pay and he should open the car door? Like why do you set that standard there?
Because I can say that just being some of the old school things that, you know, that I still want to instill that kind of respect. When me and my husband goes out, he holds the door for everybody. It's shocking how women look at him because they're not used to that. Like, you know how you open the door and you'll stand there, he'll hold it for everybody, and people are just kind of like, and I'm like, okay, do people not do this? I mean, there's still little things that that can mean a lot in it. But I mean, if you feel like the woman should open the car door for you, that's fine too.
I don't I don't want to be treated like a lady. But here's the thing I have with dating. I'm one of the biggest gentlemen out there. Like I was raised, as you just said, you raised your son. But I always tell women, if you're looking for me to always open the car on a date somewhere with one else, like I personally, I'll do all the right things, but I'm not going to get out the car every time and go open the car door. I think that's ridiculous. Whoever created it, set a unreasonable standard. Now, coming back to the car, I don't mind always opening it, but I ain't going to get out every time and walk around. But again,
So
that's
if
just
it's raining, will
a,
you let her out and go park the car
absolutely, I'll
and
do
then go back and get her?
for sure. But I'm just
Okay.
harder every time. That I can't consistently do it. So I'm a man that believes in not starting anything
Funny guy.
that I can't continue. So I tell women on my first date, whatever, I'm not gonna open the car door for you every time. And if that's a non-negotiable for you, you know what I mean, then we might stop today. But the car door is just not gonna happen every day. It's not every day. I'll pull the chair out. I'll pay for dates. I'll do all of that good stuff. Hold the door, but the car door is one of those every now and then when we're coming back. I'll always open it, stuff like that. But I don't necessarily always feel you got to get out the door and go open the door all the time.
Good, VaDayle. And I want to ask Joe a question because she's on the line right now. We get a woman's perspective. So, Joe, I know you married now, and shout out to your husband. I know him. I'm not gonna put his name out there, everything. But is there ever a time where, and it don't even have to be to your husband, that you paid for the first date?
Ooh,
And would
I
you have
don't.
dated a man that couldn't have paid for the first date? He'd say, "I want to take you out. I don't have any money."
I'm not gonna say I've paid for the first date. There probably was a time where we may have just paid for our own. Um, but I am gonna say this: if it was a point where we were going out on a first date and you were not able to pay, then we may need to get inventive and do something that may not have money, like walking uptown in Center City, stargazing, you know, going to doing something that maybe we didn't need to spend money, because I mean, financial things happen, but there's other ways to enjoy yourself without paying. But I don't know if I would pay for I can honestly say that I don't know if I would pay for the entire day.
It get time to pay. He tell you like, "Hey, I'm a little low on money. I don't have it to cover." You going on the second date? Well, at the time, I know you married now.
I mean, if it's something that we had maybe talked about, but see, I'm also like for not living beyond your means.
Mm-hmm.
And like going out, there's certain things that are necessities and there's certain things that wants. So actually going out on a date, that's not a necessity, that's a want. So it would have me question where you're at with your, thinking about your finances and that type of thing. If we're kind of already going in and you're trying to do something that financially you're not at the point that you should be doing.
Yeah, I agree with that because it's a difference from somebody who can't afford to pay for a date at 16, and it's another thing for somebody who can't afford a date a day at 40. It's a different spectrum. I think this celebrity lifestyles and all of that we see on TV,
Mhm.
I think it gives the false impression that that's how it's supposed to be. On your birthday, I'm supposed to buy you a Porsche, a Ferrari, a Birkin bag, and all these other stuff that celebrities. But at the end of the day, real people is just it's real people. Most households have to thrive on two incomes. And if you're able to do it on one income, it's good for you. But most houses they can't survive with just one income.
But you can see it with the teenagers. I'm going to be honest with my son. For him to be 18, he has very expensive tastes. And I know a lot of that comes from what he sees on social media, what he sees with the celebrities, and that type of thing. And I kind of have to, bring him back and say, you've started this lifestyle, you're going to want to keep that up. But he has, for my views, very expensive taste. And I know a lot comes from social media. So you're definitely correct on that.
Yes, because a lot of teenagers now they want to wear designer.
Oh, yes. He had a shirt on and it had like one dot on it. And I was like, oh, that's a nice shirt. Let me get me one. And he was like, oh, this was $150. I said, for that dot? Like, how much would two dots have cost?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's a different time we're living in. V said he not opening the door, and like
I say I wouldn't open the door. I said every time. I open the door here and there. Like I ain't gonna do it every time,
but then just don't start it, because that's one thing I can say that damage relationships is inconsistency.
just like
If it's something where you're not going to be consistent with it, then I would just say just don't do it at all.
it's the same with if I go, I stay over a woman's house and the next morning she makes me breakfast. I don't expect her to make me breakfast every time I stay over. Like maybe she did a nice gesture that time. Like, no, but it's something like, hey man, we gotta be real with her. Or maybe I do expect breakfast. Who knows?
well, making breakfast is not ladylike. It's not, a womanly gesture. That's why you can't compare making breakfast to
No,
like something like
about the sense of like starting a standard of like I should expect that every time someone's gonna do it. You should never have the expectation that someone's gonna do something all the time. And I think that's why we sometimes get our feelings hurt is because we have our own expectation placed on other people. And sometimes people give you that expectation and sometimes you create it yourself, which is why I try to be the realist on what I can bring to the table and what I can do consistently and what I'm going to do all the time. So,
But when you're dating, and this is something I also talk to because I have an 18 or 20-year-old. So when I used to think about dating, I'm thinking about multiple people, because to me that's what dating is. It means that you may go out with, multiple people, just, go out to eat, maybe to a movie, trying to narrow down to who you may want to commit to. But nowadays, some of the things that I see on social media, that's not the idea of dating right now. So I need to know what dating actually is for the new generation.
it doesn't exist anymore. Dating has went out the window. There's no such thing. What you have now is people in a race to compete with whatever you are doing in your household, whatever's going on at work, whatever this coworker is able to do, whatever social media tells you dating. It's rare that you still find people that date authentically and genuinely, and it's just the way of the world today. There's no more traditional dating anymore.
I agree. I agree with that.
It's hybrid. I was talking to a coworker, not a coworker. I was out with some friends, and I told them, I said, man, if a guy, asked you on a first date to Longhorn, would you be okay with that? Now, mind you, I'm a steak connoisseur. Longhorn has one of the best steaks out there. No,
Hmm.
but I love steak all over. And they said, no, not a first date to Longhorn. That's a little, ghetto. That's not nice enough. I said, well, where would you like him to take you for a first date? Well, why not Del Frisco's or Morton's or, I'm like, excuse me, on a first date, your expectation is that he should take you to Del Frisco? That
How
he's
does how does he know that you're worth $100+? Like, y'all are dating.
that's
There's absolutely nothing wrong with Longhorn for a first date. They're wanting, and that's what I'm talking about dating. The person is already wanting relationship things on a first date.
Thank the city girls. Thank
Yeah,
Meg.
and I'm not taking you to Ruth Chris on the first day for you to order your steak well done.
I'm not taking you there just so you don't eat the food, but you can make a what's that thing that do like that on Instagram? A boomerang,
Boomerang.
just so you just so you can make a boomerang for your friends to see.
Yeah, you're not about to you're just doing it for clout, and yeah. I mean, if you go there on your first date, where you going next?
My point exactly. But the way the world is set up today, people feel pressure to want to compete with that. You know what I'm saying? So I just again don't start. The moral of the story here for all of us is don't start something or create an energy that you can't maintain.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Joe, for joining us. We appreciate your opinion. I thank you for hopping on live with us. I appreciate you.
All right, anytime.
All righty, thank you. That was good.
I forgot the thing was called a boomerang. I was boomeranging myself.
T said, I think it should be something fun like Dave and Buster's, not a restaurant date.
I can agree. First dates could be anything, man. I
Yeah.
think should
It
just
should be, something fun. I agree with that. Sometimes it's a little bit too stiff, and we all doing the same things at some point. Sometimes you should do other things like T said, something fun, something where you can talk and get to know each other and, get a feel for somebody's personality. I remember when I didn't want to go out to eat. I like on dates. I just felt like it was a little bit awkward. But I think by the time we go to like a restaurant date when we date, and we already have a little bit of who they are, and it's not like a blind date where you don't know somebody, so you're just sitting at the table awkwardly. I used to purposely not really eat my food because I didn't want to seem like I was, if I get into my plate, I'll bust down.
I don't come up for air. I like to.
But let's switch gears. I'm gonna let you bounce back with a new topic.
What's the next one, Evans? What are we going with?
Let's let the people choose. Okay, we did that one. Are double standards acceptable? If so, when?
We can come back to that one.
Why is it wrong to listen to music by R. Kelly today? Chris Brown versus Usher in the verses. Who would win? Could anybody other than Jay-Z beat Drake? What you got?
Let's go with
Let's do this one.
father chastise, or should a step parent?
I like that one. That's exactly the one that I wanted to go to. Go ahead and present that one, V.
So, people, we have a touchy topic here. I don't have kids. Disclaimer, by the way. Neither does Evan. So, this topic is solely from my opinion, but I want us to all talk about, should a person in a relationship who is not the biological parent of the kid be able to discipline that kid, and to what degree should they be able to discipline that kid? Actually, let's forget the punishment. Should they be able to whoop ass? Should they be able to put hands on the kid? Is that a thing? Yes or no? What do you think, Evans?
Give me 1 second. I'm setting up something. I got to be the producer and the host all at the same time. So there's the question right there. Should a step parent or girlfriend, boyfriend be able to discipline the other person's kid? How y'all feel about that?
Why boyfriend, girlfriend, no? Tanisha Joseph. Niche.
Okay, and while they're about to put in it, I'm gonna say for me, I grew up a stepchild to on both ends. I've had a stepmom and I had a stepdad. My father and my mother allowed my stepmom to discipline us. But to basically to what Tanisha was saying, by the time my stepmom was disciplining us, she was actually my stepmom. She wasn't my daddy's girlfriend. We lived in the same house, and My mom and my dad did not have a problem with that. That with as long as it within reason, there was nothing excessive. My stepfather and my stepmom were allowed to discipline us.
Okay.
Because and just to go back to it, not only did my stepmom and my stepfather, they weren't just in my life as people who dated or married my parents. They were, another father figure to me, another mother figure to me. So it wasn't just them around me disciplining, it was them taking care of, spending time, nurturing, so I think discipline comes a part of the full package. It's the full package of parenting. If you can invest in a kid, and if you can provide for and spend time for and spend money on, you should be able to discipline to certain extent, based upon what the parents feel acceptable.
I respect that and I agree, but I also, have another side, and I agree with the comments as well, with time and, the title maybe. I think that plays a part, but I also think it plays a part in how much is the other party already pouring into
Hmm.
that household and life, because if someone's a girlfriend or boyfriend for 2 to 3 years, and within that time, they buy for the kid, they pick the kid up from school, they help with homework, they do all the parental things like it is their kid, then why stop me at the part of discipline? I was able to buy for the kid like they were mine. I were able to go, sign them out of school like they were mine. I was able to, stay up, help, but like I did all the parental things, and I've been in the kid's life for a decent amount of time. But now you say, well, you can't discipline the kid, So I'm just wondering, why is that okay for me to do all of those things, but you say at this point, now I'm gonna take discipline off the table?
Yes, and maybe the person in the relationship with the person may be fine with you disciplining their child, but maybe the biological mom or dad may not be okay with somebody else um, disciplining their child. And maybe to what extent of disciplining do we, when we say discipline, do we mean like physically,
Right.
or or directive, or a conversation, or some reach out and touch.
Not to cut you off, man. I seen a Twitter topic the other day where a woman or a husband, I can't remember exactly, so I'll just give the scenario. I believe the fiance, which was the woman, broke up with her husband and called the wedding off because she found out that her daughter was pregnant, and the husband to be took the daughter to get an abortion without running it by the mom. What's your thoughts on that?
I think that's unacceptable.
Why? Because the husband didn't tell the mom that her daughter was pregnant and he was taking her to get an abortion?
Yes,
Now, before you say it's unacceptable, let me give you this part of it. Do you think the guy was in a lose-lose situation? Because A, if he takes the daughter to get the abortion, now the woman is pissed at him, correct? But also, if he tells the mom that your daughter is pregnant, did he possibly lose the trust that he gained through his not biological child? And
I
he
get it. It was a tough, both ends are tough, but at the end of the day, his loyalty, or his first and foremost, is to his wife. You know, not the child, or maybe she's not a child, but at the end of the day, they're got to be on the same level of communication as parents
the
together.
little girl who was 16 could have got the abortion without a parent present anyway, but she wanted the dad because they were cool to go. So why are we mad at the dad, at the husband who's not the father, for taking the kid to get the abortion?
That's definitely something that should
But,
have
but
been ran
the
through.
kid trusted the soon to be husband more. Does that not say anything that the kid didn't go to their actual mom for this?
It does say something, but at the end of the day, it was his responsibility to let the child know, or let, whoever it was know, that, hey, I understand, your reserve, and I understand how you may feel, but the right thing to do is to go to your mom. At the end of the day, you're able to make this decision yourself, but the right thing to do is to.
But so let me throw the loop in here. If that was his biological kid and it was both of their kids and she came to him as the father, is he still wrong for not telling the mom, which is, they're both
I
parents?
think so. I think so.
But why is that? It's his kid.
Because we have to be on the same page as parents. We have to be on the same page as parents. Like our kids can't combat us against each other. Like whether it be good or bad, whether they're going to be happy or mad, we have to have a united front as parents.
Now, if he just lost the trust of his soon to be stepdaughter and that causes a problem in the household, then what? Again, I'm not agreeing with the decision that he made. I haven't even made a decision on how I feel about it. I just feel like he's in a lose-lose situation. He's damned if he do, he's damned if he don't.
Definitely, but the child is going to grow up and go on. He has to be married to this woman, or that's his wife or his girlfriend or whatever they are. At the end of the day, parents have to be on the same page. Otherwise, I just would assume that mom would probably be disgusted. Abortion is very serious, like Tanisha said. I was just about to say that. An abortion is a serious surgery. You can't just go take a child to do that. God forbid she die under the knife. Then what? I agree with that. At the end of the day, there might be some decisions that hurt or affect the kid, but at the end of the day, you owe it, or it's your responsibility to, hey, I understand how you feel, and I understand you might feel more comfortable with me than you may do with your mom, but we gotta teach
So
our
are we
kids the right things.
severity here? Like, I want to be clear. Is it only a severity thing? And the reason why I asked that, I love bringing down the house. It's almost the same situation. If this child, the daughter, which isn't his biological daughter, was super drunk at a party somewhere, intoxicated, and couldn't drive home, and she called her soon to be stepdad to come get her, and he came to get her and didn't tell the mom, should he still tell the mom there, or is that one okay to keep under the rugs?
Um, listen,
I'm not
there's
just
definitely some things that maybe I've done or said that I've confided into my father, and he may have not told my mom or my stepmom. And there may be some things that I've done or told my mom that I I guess they can pick and choose about the severity, but anything life changing or life altering
I agree.
should be ran through the other parent. It's just the right thing to do. Nobody wants to, feel like they're not. He should go get her and tell her mom later down the line. But yeah, that's a drunken night is not on the same level of severity of, like an abortion, like Tanisha said, where that could possibly, she could possibly die, and we gotta learn how to communicate in these families, and we have to teach our kids, young adults, that doing the right thing is better than, hurt feelings for a little while. Your feelings might be hurt today and you might be offended right now, but later down the line, you're going to understand as you grow up, as you mature, that doing the right thing is necessary. I couldn't consciously take you down to get an abortion and not let your mom know. Like, it's wrong.
Can't necessarily disagree with you there.
But I mean, like you said, it is a tough decision. Sometimes with like other people's kids and step kids, you really only have one chance to, build or break relationships with them. But at the end of the day, I believe some people will respect you more for, hey, I'm gonna support you regardless. I'm
Right.
gonna be with you. I'm gonna go with you. But the right thing to do is for your mom to know. I'm going, regardless of how she feel, I'm riding with you and I'm going to go with you. But I'm also teaching you a life lesson in the moment that we do the right thing, even when it doesn't feel like, the right thing. I'm gonna still go with you and I'm gonna still support your decision. But the right thing to do, and you'll understand this as you get older, the right thing to do is to do the right thing. But it would suck to be in a position like that.
I definitely agree. And again, I would hate to be in a decision like that because, again, not having kids, I can only talk from what I assume. But
Jamara said,
huh?
did it. We would go to Ma about certain things before Daddy, and to Daddy for certain things. We went to the parent who was more lenient about that certain thing. If it was about grades and stuff, we was definitely not going to my father about that because he didn't play games about grades. Mary was a little bit more lenient. Or if it was about like freedoms and stuff, you know which parent to play. You know how to play that game when it comes
Well,
to.
I don't know. I could only go to one parent. So
Well, shout out to Mary.
I have one parent, but Bruce, we love you. Wherever.
Yes, because I'm still laughing at Mr. Bruce at VaDayle's graduation, VaDayle's college graduation. It was a beautiful moment. You had to be there. It's probably more to the story. Wedding should be on hold and need counseling.
Yeah.
Would
Okay.
that, would that be enough to call off a wedding though? I know you pissed, but you pay all that money for all that. But I guess trust would be broken.
I got a quick one for you guys. Me and my friends were having a debate, and I really want to know you guys' opinion. You're about to get married, and it is your bachelorette party or your soon-to-be husband's bachelor party.
Uh-oh.
Would you call off the marriage if you found out at your significant other's bachelorette party or bachelor party that, before I give the example, let me ask you this. How far is too far at a bachelorette or bachelor party? Evans, what's your thoughts?
How far is too far?
How far is too far? What's off limits there? Or do
I
you give the example?
okay.
Do you want the example?
No, I mean I'm gonna just say it like this, and this is just what I think. Jamara said, "Come on now, V."
Let me
My
give you
thing is, I mean, because we've all seen videos of what's been going on, but for me, my thing is this: if you can't do this thing while your spouse is there, then you shouldn't do it.
I disagree because it's a bachelor or bachelorette party. There's a lot of things that you're not necessarily out of respect going to want to do in front of your significant. I didn't say cheat,
No, I'm not talking about
but
cheating.
you wouldn't necessarily want to subject your husband or wife to what you're doing at a bachelor party. So I don't think it's necessarily about being in front.
Well, when in regards to the conversation, when we say how far is too far, if you feel like you can't do it, or if it got back to the person, if you feel like all of that would jeopardize what you got, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. Now,
There,
so
there
and like with strippers, there's plenty of relationships who okay strippers, fine, have strippers, y'all have fun, da da da. But there's a certain line that you shouldn't probably cross when it comes to like stuff like that. And it's all about fun and it's all about a good time. Women have strippers, men have strippers, whatever. But we definitely seen videos and heard conversations of lines being crossed. Basically, if that person heard about that, the wedding would definitely be off.
So if you found out your fiance, just give an example, for example,
Okay.
was at her bachelorette party and her friend sprayed whipped cream on the stripper's chest, up here, and your significant other licked it off. Is that appropriate? Would you feel a way about that?
Shay your mug. Um, it's nothing that I would encourage, but for me, that part right there, without going any further, that's not really a deal breaker for me.
Okay. So let's go a little bit further down. Let's go to near the pubic
It's,
mound.
it's COVID out there. Definitely inappropriate, but not grounds for calling off the wedding. Now, I would not encourage that. And if she's listening and watching, I definitely don't encourage that. Um, yeah, that ain't it. But I'm just saying that right there in that type of setting, it's somewhat what goes on. Typical. Like I said, I would not encourage her to do that. But something like that is not like the wedding. We're not getting married tomorrow because I seen you. Nothing like that. But don't do it. What about you? Would that be you calling off the wedding?
No, that's just minor. Like you said, I expect her to do that at her bachelorette party.
I'll
Like,
tell you what I think is inappropriate.
um,
Going to the hibachi restaurant and the person flicking
you don't like Salt Bay sprinkling the stuff.
flicking at the meat.
I think it's inappropriate when he does it to me. You know.
But no, like, we, like I said, we've seen these videos where people are, crossing the line at these bachelor and bachelorette parties where it's like it's cheating, like full out cheating. But dancing with the stripper and the stripper dancing on you, it's almost typical party behavior in that setting.
It's
And
expected.
yeah,
That's what he.
but there's some stuff that goes on at these parties that ain't cool.
Yeah, you'd have to basically cheat, in my opinion. And when I say cheat, it'd have to involve almost a level of intercourse or inappropriate, maybe touching, that would cause me to call off a wedding at that point. So I don't know. Enjoy yourself, just don't take it too far.
Yeah, don't go crazy.
Because as Evans would say, I'm not gonna say what you would say. We have viewers.
Go ahead, say it.
That's okay.
I can't even imagine what you could say.
Yeah, you weren't always the Evans that you are today.
I'm totally always the same, Evans. I dare you to say it.
Well, guys, I don't want to put your. No, dude, I don't know.
We having our ish together. What are you talking about, Niche?
We haven't. Oh, okay. Another time. Would you have your bachelorette and bachelor party together?
No.
A little weird, but
there's lots of couples who encourage that. I guess for the fear of the stuff that we just spoke of. I'm not doing that.
Trust me, then I don't believe we need a marriage. That's my stance.
Yeah.
You don't. Why are we getting married? You don't trust what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Don't marry me.
You said they're having their parties together. Nah, we're not having our parties together. Like, don't rob each other of the experience of actually enjoying the moment. Just, have a little bit of class and a little bit of tact. I was about to say I'm sending my sisters and cousins to see what's going on, but they may be the people that encourage her to go crazy. I say, Missy, go there and tell me what's going on. Missy may be the one. Go, Karen. Go, Karen. Hey, F it up.
Missy definitely gonna get Kay in trouble. She's not playing.
Missy said some men feel like it's their last chance to cut a food.
It is the no. That's what traditionally happens in movies, but I don't know about real life. Do men really, go do their thing one more time? Do women typically go do their thing one more time? I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't do it.
Ashley said it's not always about trust. Some people really enjoy their partners and each other company. I enjoy my partner's company, but we're definitely not having a joint bachelor and bachelorette party. I believe this is gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to being out with my fellas, my cousins, friends, brothers, having a good, you can have good, clean, fun time, and it not be no disrespect, it should just be respectful, of course, but we definitely not having the joint one.
Nah, it's too much. It's kind of like we work together. I don't go home.
I think you Rob, and to each his own for each couple. Maybe some people want to have theirs together, and that's totally fine. But I don't. I want to go live on location. I want to be crazy with my dudes, and I want to have that memory of us. You know what I'm saying? Wherever we do and wherever we go, I want to have that memory of us. Remember that time we went crazy in Vegas? And I want my girlfriend, future wife, to enjoy, her time with her girls or whatever they do.
It's the last hurrah, that you got to go out and have a bang and try to not, be hungover to the point that you aren't present at the wedding the next day.
They don't do that no more. They don't have weddings the next day. They don't have the weddings the next day no more. They plan these bachelorette parties and bachelor parties like in advance because a lot of people wasn't showing up for the weddings, or if they did show up for the weddings, they was hungover, or they looked bad, or they was just not in good shape to get married the next day. So a lot of these people, they have their weddings and stuff in advance.
Right. No, I don't know, man. I think I like the idea of the wedding a little bit after. I think it gives you a little bit of time to, rebuild and regroup. So maybe that's not a bad idea. Do you
Yeah, I think I definitely want to have mine in advance.
so you can, just
Yeah,
not.
I don't want to have to worry about getting up the next day and getting married. I want to be able to sleep off all the fun and crazy from the night before. I do want to talk a little bit about the judge, the Supreme Court judge nominee.
Yeah, let's do it. What's your thoughts there, Evans? Where are we going with that?
First of all, let me pull up her name. I don't want to butcher her name, but I want to say it's Katinja Brown Jackson. I like everyone else enjoyed. They go through this scrutiny. Washington and politics is so crazy. Like everybody, they all get up there lying, and we don't trust them all more than we can throw them. But I definitely want to say that them Republicans really went crazy on her. Um,
They went crazy on her.
they did. But what I really do love, and only a senator from New Jersey could do what Senator Cory Booker said. You have to be from Jersey to have this type of give this type of speech. And it's been going viral.
And I want to tell you, when I look at you, this is why I get emotional. I'm sorry, you're a person that is so much more than your race and gender. You're a Christian, you're a mom, you're an intellect, you love books. But for me, I'm sorry, it's hard for me not to look at you and not see my mom, not to see my cousins, one of them who had to come here and sit behind you. She had to have your back. I see my ancestors and yours. Nobody's going to steal the joy of that woman in the street, or the calls that I'm getting, or the texts. Nobody's going to steal that joy. You have earned this spot. You are worthy. You are a great American.
Wow.
That was pretty powerful.
Very powerful.
Very.
And at that point, I felt like she needed it. You know what I'm saying? She had gone through so much, with the Republicans and all of those representatives, really giving her some grueling um, questions. And she, at that point, sometimes you just need somebody to have your back. And I was glad that the senator was able to be there for her and support her, because sometimes when you got everybody on you, every now and then you need your brother or your sister to tell you, hey, they could say what they want to say, but we got you. You earned this. You got this. I don't care what the world is saying about you or what they bringing up that make you look bad. You didn't get here just because your spot is your spot, because you earned it. And I think she really needed that.
Yeah, it's interesting to find out that she's actually not just qualified. She is the most qualified candidate in history to, be running or, for that position. And the degree of scrutiny and, everything that she faced was completely unbelievable, So I just wonder though, will she be treated as the qualified candidate, or will she be treated as just another black woman to hold a position of power, essentially? What do you think, Evans?
Yes, and I think you said it. Like she's qualified, so I don't think she's just another black person we put in place just to, appease the blacks. Like she's educated, she's qualified, she's more than qualified, probably more qualified than anybody else who's sitting on the Supreme Court justices. So I don't think that she's just going to be just, the token black person that they throw on. Okay, let's put somebody black up there to make the blacks happy. I think she's going to be able to go up there, provided that she is, selected. I think she's going to go out there and be, an advocate. But I wonder, does it change the narrative to a lot of people that she's actually married to a white man?
Here's my thing about that. And I love, everyone. I think everyone should date whoever they want. But when you have a mixed relationship like that, Kamala, or, like this lady here, does that ultimately affect where you just where you where you want to make a decision from as a person in those seats, because now you're swayed with two different sides of things. So like you said, are people still going to be receptive to her because she's the sister, or should her husband being white have influence on our perception of her as a black woman? Should we be influenced by that, or it has nothing to do with anything?
I don't think it has anything to do with anything. Like you said, her resume speaks for itself. Her experience, her education, that should all be in the forefront of who she is and what she could potentially bring. Her being married to a white man doesn't really, change my um, the respect that I have for her. But I think that it possibly would change like the media's. I don't think a lot of people who've probably seen the video of Corey, advocating for her, or, seeing her, I don't think they really all knew, because you know how they did Kamala when they found out she was married to a white man. They kind of, took away from the sisterhood or the movement, black agenda.
Yeah. What about if she was a white woman with a black husband,
Name one.
just as qualified? Would you feel like the black influence would hold power then?
Probably not. Not that I don't even think I know that there's some, but I can't really think of any to come to mind.
Yeah, I don't know either. But again, like you said, I personally don't really care about it. It is what it is. I was, like I said, I wasn't as privy or as knowledgeable to that subject when it was going on as I would have liked to have been. But I did do a little research and looked into it, and to find out, like I said, that she was the most qualified candidate, ever. That was strange to me, about how the guys treated her there when no one else has even, been a judge or held some of those positions, or did some of the things that she done, or, had some of the degrees that she was able to obtain. So for me, that was a prime example of showing you what society, will do to still
Mhm.
out of the running because you're, a person of color.
Exactly. Exactly. So let's change topics really quickly before we head off. I guess we'll make this our last topic, and
What do you want to get into now, Evans?
I'll give you the option of Chris Brown versus Usher in the verses. Who would win, or why aren't relationships successful anymore?
Those are both some of my favorite topics, but I would say you save the relationship topic for your next podcast if you want to hold on to that one. And let's do one of our favorites, and let's talk about Chris Brown and Usher in a versus battle.
Okay, last topic of the night. Go ahead and put in the comment section if you would go for Chris Brown in a versus or Usher in a versus. I'm gonna put in the comment section right now who I would go for. VaDayle, you do the same thing. All right. All right, I'm gonna give y'all a couple more seconds to put in the comment section who you would be rooting for in a versus. In a versus between Chris Brown and Usher, where we play their bodies of music hit for hit, back and forth. Who do you root for, Usher or Chris Brown?
I think Usher, man, has a lot of nostalgia connected. Usher has timeless music. I love that about Usher. But I also think about hits. And I feel that although Chris Brown has microwavable records and they don't last as long, a hit is a hit. And I feel like he may have more bigger hits in totality than Usher. I think Usher would win a lot of us over because it's Usher and the nostalgia of the era and everything. But like I said, once you go song for song, I think a lot of Chris Brown's chart songs may be bigger than Usher's. And this is just me arguing without research, but opinion, I feel Chris could win. I'm not going to say he couldn't beat Usher. Chris is a qualified candidate. Microwavable records. What I mean by that is that Usher, he has that timeless music. Chris makes music sometimes now, like a lot of the guys today, where it's hot this summer and then no one listens to it next summer, or it's cool this month and then it goes away. He does have a few timeless hits or classics, so to say, but Chris makes music now that's like just all right, it was cool today and it goes away next week. I don't know what happened to him, but he does a lot of that now. But it turns into a hit for the moment. I still think he could win in a versus battle, though.
Chris, if it's a popularity contest, Chris wins for a fact. Hit for hit, I'm going Usher. Usher, like you said, timeless music. Bigger hits commercially. Usher has bigger hits commercially than Chris Brown. No, sir, we have to have the awards to match. I see this conversation gonna really it's gonna lose. It's gonna it could get crazy because I like both. I like Chris Brown and I like Usher. I appreciate both of their music, both of their bodies of work rather. But if I personally believe that Usher has the better music.
He has the better music, I agree, in terms of sound quality. But does he
vocal talent, Usher?
But does he have 20 hits over Chris Brown?
Absolutely. I believe that he does. Chris Brown, the thing with Chris Brown is since he's come out in like 2005, Chris Brown has the hits in timeless records too. See, T, you want to tussle. I'm not tussling with you tonight, T. You want to argue. Hit for hit, it would be an amazing versus. But I just feel like, and here's the thing, all of this music that Chris Brown released is not hits because we hear them.
Okay, so Evans, if I was going to throw at you, right, let's just say Run It, right? Let's say Kiss Kiss, Forever, With You.
I just don't feel like those are going against Usher songs.
Now, Yo, Loyal, Shorty Like Mine, and, Say Goodbye. Like, let's just say I just threw those out. What 10 Usher songs would you throw out?
All right, I'm gonna get them for you. You got it bad. You remind me. Nice and slow. I'm not even. You don't have to call. My boo. There's plenty. And Chris Brown and Usher are their age brackets are different.
We're talking hits, Evans. Like, I didn't listen.
I just think for a lot of those tracks that you just said of Chris Brown's,
They were
I don't think that
hits.
they're beating Usher Smooth.
They're Billboard hits.
But Usher is
You're connected to the nostalgia.
commercially. Chris Brown is bigger than Usher, and I'm just telling you that because I know that.
You're
That's like
you're,
numbers. Usher is bigger.
you're connected to where you were when you would listen to certain Usher songs. You're not connected to what the actual hit is.
Usher is a bigger commercial artist than Chris Brown.
Although you don't like the song Kiss, Kiss, that
I didn't
love,
say I don't like it. I'm just saying if I put it up against,
it's still a hit. That was a major hit, you know? These ain't loyal. Like, those are big hits. Run it, you know, yo, poppin', loyal. That's just off the top. We ain't even get into like let's factually search Chris Brown's hits.
that's the thing. A
Put
lot
her
of Brown's songs. I mean, I think the fact that
Put her on live now, Evans. Someone needs to go on live.
someone wants to come on live.
I want her to eat you for breakfast here.
Oh, T want to come on. Okay, T, you want to tussle a little bit. I got a little time for you. I'm about to send you an invite right now.
Put them to shame.
But here's the thing. I'm not saying that I don't like Chris Brown music because that's not true. I do like some of Chris Brown music, but Chris Brown has released a lot of music, but that don't mean that it's all quality music.
We're not talking about quality. There's a lot of quality.
Yeah, I mean, because if you make an album with 50 and 60 songs, that's cool, but 30 of them all sound the same. 20 of them all about the same thing. It's just
you have
quality. I'm quality over quantity. T, I sent you the invite on Facebook Messenger.
I understand, but you could still have a hit.
Yeah. I think Usher, I don't think Chris Brown is seeing Usher. And granted, Chris Brown came out after Usher, but he's probably have more music than him because he makes a lot of music and every remix or every.
That's disrespectful to someone who we could almost argue is more talented than Michael Jackson.
We know.
Think about he's almost more. He might be more talented than Michael Jackson.
I think that Chris Brown. I think it's because he never really left. People just, first of all, this music that he's putting out is not timeless.
So what that it's not timeless? Does that mean
so when we compare bodies of work, timeless is gonna have to be timeless? Okay, let's say a couple of those songs you just said of Chris Brown. I don't even think Chris Brown would play those tracks going up against Usher. Going up, even Usher's earlier. If you put,
I might have reached with the Michael Jackson.
Yeah, you should be banned from Facebook for at least 30 days for that. But even if we're going off of first albums alone, I'm not going to compare Chris Brown's Confessions album to Chris Brown's debut album. That's not fair. Even if we did Chris Brown's first album, which we know, Usher's first album, even the music when they were probably around in the same age bracket when they first started the Usher album.
Sorry, y'all. I was just preaching with the Michael Jackson that wasn't serious. But all I'm saying is that you're not looking at the total spectrum, right? Chris Brown may not have timeless music to the degree that Usher has. What I'm trying to get you to see is that he does have a lot of hits. Little Baby, before you go, you might not like Little Baby today in terms of his rap style. Annoying, it could be blah, blah, blah. But the amount of hits, based on hits, that this man has made over the last few years, when you say let's put his hits up against some of the other great rappers we like, you might be like, well, although I hate this song, it was a hit. You know, like it's not timeless, but it was a hit. You know what I mean? Like we're just talking hits. We're not talking like
So
how.
what do you call a hit? Is it charts? Is it sales? Or just music?
No, what I'm saying is Chris and Usher both have timeless music. I agree. A lot of Chris' first songs were timeless. We love it. Usher has a lot of timeless music as
In
well.
the green room arguing.
But what I'm saying is that people make hits every day. Racks on Racks on Racks was a hit. You know, Panda and the Browns in the Land. Like that was a hit.
He has not been seen or heard since.
Yo,
That's called a one-hit wonder.
so what? It's a hit.
No, I'm not taking. I mean, it's not a hit that you would play up against a Jay-Z or. Can you hear me? My sound? Can you hear me?
We're gonna go to a short intermission, guys.
Can you hear me now?
Why is it just me up here? Well, this is new, guys. I'm not sure what's going on, and I'm not even sure if I have a host with me. But since we don't have a host and it's just me appearing up. Hi.
There we are. Hi.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. It looks like we lost the host, but have no fear, VaDayle is here.
Yeah, I had to come up here and rip Roche shreds because he know I'm a
I ain't scared.
to the day I die.
I ain't scared.
Get them together.
And that's fine.
Can y'all hear me?
Totally... Yes, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
I know that you are a Chris Brown fan, and I know you came up here to tussle with me. So what you got to say? Chris Brown versus Usher. Who's winning?
Chris Brown. He has all the timeless records to show, so you can't say he don't have timeless songs. I think they grew up in a different era. They have different people that grew up with them than other people. So that is debatable whether Chris Brown would win or Usher would win because it's two different eras.
Mm-hmm.
But Chris Brown would win it hands down.
So do this for me, T. At the end of the battle, when it's time to play that big hit that's just gonna seal it, what Chris Brown song are you playing that's gonna give me that
couple
Chris Brown song?
But Evan, what you're doing is not to interject here, is that they have that one nuclear weapon you're talking about. I agree. That's one song. But if we're playing 20 songs, Chris Brown can compete out of 20 songs.
Exactly.
He might not have whatever you're gonna go with, you know what I mean? But I got 19 more songs to beat you. That's only one.
Right. Usher only has
how
many hits?
He
has hits. But is he going to be able to go up against Chris Brown and his hits?
Usher has 20 hits.
Easily.
He does have 20 hits.
Yes, he has plenty of hits, and that is very true.
That's 20 hits.
But I'm saying is after the hits, what does he have?
But see, this is where you got to realize, and this is my counter argument, is that when you talk about magnitude of a hit, Usher has 10 hits that are here, right? Chris has 10 hits that are here. What Evans is trying to argue is that when you hear those 10 hits together, and I can't necessarily agree, the nostalgia of where you were when you hear Nice and Slow is going to overtake you when you hear Poppin' to a degree. You get what I mean?
Wait.
Tanisha but he has other songs that are in that genre of Nice and Slow.
He can take it home with Take You Down. So like V just said, so if Chris Brown plays Take You Down and Usher plays Nice and Slow, you telling me Take You Down is beating Nice and Slow?
Yes, he will. Yes, sir.
It can't beat Nice and Slow.
Ever.
It's hard. It's hard to beat that, you know.
T, come on now. I know you
no.
stand for Chris Brown,
no.
Take You Down is not.
It's not beating nice and
not
slow.
That is
beating
what if Chris Brown,
It's
if you
set.
have been to one of his concerts,
I'm in my drop top cruising. That's like we can play that anywhere and people gonna
It's
sing
the
it.
end of it.
and that is
U.S.
true.
H-E-R.
But
It's
if you,
done.
it is. If you go to a Chris Brown concert right now, or anywhere where you have like
I've been
a
to a Chris Brown concert
DJ
and he killed
or
it.
okay, that's fine. But like I said, if you went to his concert right now, and or like say like a women's empowerment anything, if they had played "Take Me Down," that's it. Like everybody is jamming, and same thing with "Nice and Slow." But I can tell you that "Take You Down" would take the cake.
Nah, nice and slow. Everybody singing it. Yo, mama.
No.
Yo,
But even if you didn't want to pick "Take You Down," he has plenty of more that beats.
But
You
see, here's
know,
the thing.
is up
Why I
at
said
that spot
it's
of "Nice
hard
and Slow."
because let's say we don't do nice and slow and we end it with this. If we play Confessions Part 2 or Let It Burn, what is Chris Brown gonna play to keep up with that? When that is like I can go anywhere and we're gonna talk sing-alongs. Confessions Part 2 might be one of the biggest sing-along songs ever. What do you do? What Chris Brown sing-along song are you gonna play to rock with Confessions Part 2?
Let me
look at me
pull up the
now.
catalog for you.
Like
Let
we're
me pull
talking
up the catalog for you.
karaoke, and you want people to partake, not the everyday Chris Brown, everyday Usher fans that can just sing. I'm a super fan. I'm just on some casual. I'm in a club and I heard Confessions Part 2. Everyone's gonna sing that. What is Chris Brown gonna play to keep up?
I think I ever. What are you playing?
Right,
Tell me.
right. I'm about to pull up the catalog and shut you down right now. Let's pull up the catalog.
Or when you hear
Right.
six
Usher
away
does have two generations. Chris Brown has one. You're
with
right.
eyes,
And that is very true. He
yeah,
has two
but
different generations.
oh, that's what I'm saying though. And I'm like I said, I'm arguing for Chris, but I'm saying it's
Oh,
what
Tanisha said deuces. He could play deuces.
Deuces isn't gonna.
That I just pulled that up.
I wouldn't play Deuces with Confessions Part 2. I wouldn't play them together. I wouldn't do that.
He also has liquor. That's
Lick
a good one to go
so
against that
your
one.
song to go with Confessions Part
Liquor.
Yeah.
2. Mm,
This is what I'm saying. And this is how I feel. I feel like with the exception of Dance and Trey songs will probably be a better Trey
say what?
and Chris Brown's music would probably be better, go head to head better. With the exception of Chris Brown and Usher being able to dance, I
Brown.
think
That's disrespect to Chris. Trey shouldn't be in the same sentence there. That's disrespect to Chris.
Yeah, Trey doesn't have enough
Anisha said,
hits
or
to go
don't judge
against
me.
Chris.
Don't judge. I say you play a song like Don't Judge or Liquor when Usher plays a song like Daddy's Home. Like that's one of those that can be beat. But you can't do nothing with Confessions Part 2. You know what I mean? Like No Guidance is a song that I would play as one of Chris Brown. I mean, maybe that's a Drake song, but I'm just saying that feature or whatever is like that's one of those timeless moments of music for both of them
Because
that
I feel like what Chris gonna play when Usher play, you remind me.
again, you can't forget Yo and Poppin'. Like those are you remind me in
I'm
my
not
opinion.
playing yo. I mean, you
I'm
might
not
play yo,
talking
but
here with the type of sound. We're just talking about hits. Yo and Poppin' are super songs.
Usher has like big songs though. Like I see what you're saying, like, and I agree with you. But when Usher play "You Got It Bad," that's another sing along. I'm your man. You,
Right. So
you're not beating that.
Usher comes right behind that and plays My Boo, right? It's like, damn, another sing along.
And Chris got plenty of features. He could play. He got about 100 features over Usher.
Come
But
on.
they got a hit.
Okay, so like he's featured on Usher songs.
Timeless. This is what I'm trying to tell you as a fan. Like, I'll switch gears with you. I'm one of the biggest Drake fans of a new. Like I just became a Drake fan about 3 years ago. I'm a huge Drake fan. Drake could be almost anybody's catalog, in my opinion. But when you take 20 of Jay-Z's
Nisha
songs,
said no air versus my boo.
when you put 20 of Drake's songs out,
That's a good
the
one.
nostalgia of Jay-Z's classics will overshadow almost anybody's 20 songs because of where you were in the time of his classics.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to beat Hard Knock Life. It's hard to beat Can't Knock the Hustle. It's hard to beat some of those things
Nisha
because of
said
where
yeah 3 times. Usher killing him with that 1 year.
it's hard. Usher has the effect, man.
She said yeah 3 times. Usher just do yeah 1 time.
Yeah, 3 times is a song, but
Even though I did love yeah 3 times.
I think Chris could win. It's just a matter of does he strategically play some of his hits at certain times because Usher gonna win the crowd. He's gonna win the nostalgia effect. Like he's gonna win that, yo.
That's why I said, is it appropriate to put them against each other?
It would be more for me. It would be more of a vibe. I don't think it would ever be competition between them two.
Chris has the catalog. Like he's one of the only people.
Yeah, he does.
But to me, Usher is a legend icon in the game.
Chris is a legend and an icon.
He is.
Chris Brown is definitely heading that way. I wouldn't.
No, don't do that. He's
a
already
legend.
He's already there.
He's a legend. He has the hits to match it and the awards.
A legend, though.
Hey, Evans, how could Chris Brown isn't a legend?
Of his generation.
How could you say he's not a legend today?
So you say he's at Usher's level?
No, he's a legend.
Yeah, of his generation,
I consider Usher to be like a icon / legend.
That's Chris Brown today.
Yeah, as his yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, you good. I'm with you. He's definitely a legend and an icon today.
I feel like Chris Brown is a legend in the making.
How's he in the making? And he
already gets legend status.
Yes. Like, do you know his catalog? Do you know his hits?
I do, but
he's been number one more than months and months.
I get it. Like, he definitely put out a lot of. I mean, he's like the standout in R&B for his.
When did Chris
legend?
How many ago did Chris Brown come out, Evans?
How many what?
How long ago did Chris Brown come out?
2005.
So he came out in 2005.
Well, look, he came out when Rihanna came out. Is Rihanna a legend?
So look, he came out in 2000.
She could be.
It is.
She's not.
To say that Rihanna is not a legend, but Chris Brown is, how? When Rihanna
definitely, Rihanna's a legend.
No, she is, but she took both of them took a little break right now, but she definitely is on that status of legend. Like they're of their generation. Like you got to think about generation and the era. Yes, Usher is, legend for his era, and so is Chris Brown because he's in a whole different era. So yes, he is legend of his era. We can't let it be Jacquees.
Usher
because he doesn't even compare.
Chris Brown is a legend for multiple reasons, right?
I feel like Chris Brown is a legend in the making. Like I just can't give you that so quick.
From this standpoint, what makes you legendary? Chris Brown is a legend.
Quick.
I'm gonna tell you, right? Here's multiple reasons why he's legendary. Longevity, one, is what makes him legendary. That's the first thing. Longevity at a high level. He ain't just been a slouch in the game. He's been at a high level. Hits, top features, all of that. And then his demand. Chris Brown has been demanded in the industry. He's like a Drake. You want a hit song, you put Drake on it. You want a hit song, you put Chris Brown on it. You feature them. These things make them legendary. The other part that makes him legendary is that Chris Brown is multifaceted. Whether it's his artwork he does, his fashion sense, his ability to dance, and he's one of the most legendary performers out there. All of that as a package deal is why he's who he is, and that makes him a legend. All of those things combined. That's a legend. When you have all of that under the umbrella, like you're gonna go pay to see Chris Brown. Same with Beyonce. You're paying for the vocals, you're paying for the show, the performance, what they're gonna do with the crowd, the songs they're gonna perform, all of that. Like that's legendary. Chris Brown is a whole thing under an umbrella. That's what makes him legendary.
I just feel like Okay, hold on, let me see.
You gotta take that in consideration. Come on, he's been in the game since 2005 at a high level, top features, a great catalog. He puts out, impressive bodies of work when he does. He gets anybody a #1 hit on record. Like that's a legendary thing to do. When you look at the artists of his
I really want, here's the thing for me. Like, I'm not saying that Chris Brown's not talented. That would be foolish. Chris Brown is extremely talented, and he's done a lot of stuff. But my thing is, for me, I guess I'm just struggling with trying to find. I'm struggling with trying to find, like, at what part is it cemented?
Why he's legendary? Because you have guys like August Alsina, you have guys like Trey Songz, you have guys like Tory Lanez, you have all these R&B, people that aren't Chris Brown. That's what makes him legendary. When you have people that do the thing you do, and you separate yourself and go somewhere else, that's the legendary part, that we can even talk about him with Usher. That's legendary within its own self. You can't talk Trey. You can't talk August Alsina. You can't talk Jacquees in these conversations. That's the legendary part of it. When Michael Jackson died, rest in peace, and we knew who could do this performance, you had Chris Brown do it. Legendary. There's a reason for that. These traits, these attributes is what creates a legend. He's a legend by default now because of that. Now, if he was at the same point as Trey Songz today, I'd be like, nah, he's not a legend.
I think the part for me is the part. I mean, because Chris is talented in everything. I think the part that I struggle with giving him that legend icon takeaway is I just don't feel about him how I feel about other artists.
Doesn't make him. I mean, that doesn't
No,
take.
It doesn't take anything away. Like, I don't feel like, even if we're talking about like the greats, the Michael Jacksons, the Prince, that top tier. But even like, I just feel like he's done a lot of stuff, and he's done a great. He's definitely made an impact. But is it legend?
100%. If Chris Brown left today, God forbid,
because
he'd be missed.
That next tier of legends, you got, we talked about the Michaels, the Janets. Then you have the Whitneys, the Mariahs. Then underneath them, coming up behind them, is the Beyoncés.
And the Chris Browns and Usher.
Beyoncés. And I just feel like for the next generation, just because you're here and just because you've been here a long time does not make you a legend. Beyonce is a legend without a doubt.
We agree.
Beyonce, and that's whether you like her, however you feel about her, Beyonce's spot is cemented.
There's different things to make you a legend.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I just feel like I'm okay with giving Beyonce the legendary, iconic next. I just feel like Chris Brown just didn't really. I feel like Chris Brown are really tapped out already.
Not at all.
Yeah, not at all.
He's released way more music than anybody else, but I feel like his time, he's just keeping himself busy. But I just feel like somebody like, after that, Tears. It's Tears. You got your Michaels, your Janets, your Whitneys, your Mariahs, and those people. Then after that is the next.
He's still a legend.
Yeah, I think he's a hard worker.
He's a legend.
I think he is very talented.
Evans, based on your point, Chris Brown has peaked already. Like, he's been to the top. So according to you, if he stopped today, there was nothing that can make him a legend. He's done everything to become a legend already. Like, what more would
you? What else does he need to do?
He's rich. He's got all the money. He's got all of this. But I just feel like if he's already peaked, I feel like something's missing.
What? That's like
Yeah, what is
For
it?
me
Yeah.
personally, it's quality music.
you're nitpicking. Okay, so again, there are
Okay.
a lot of legends without quality music. I just named you. Solely off music, he's not a legend. When you add music, which again I could debate with you all day that he does have great music, that's one legendary category. When you add in his ability to perform, that makes him, get into a legendary category. When you look at what he does with art, with sports, he plays basketball, he's into fashion, the nose ring, the hair dye, like all of those things he brings to the table. All of that under one umbrella is why he's a legend and a
Yes.
staple in our entertainment world today. He wasn't just a one-trick pony where he made music. If that was Chris Brown, I would agree with you. His music itself didn't make him a legend. It's Chris Brown's whole package. When his manager promotes him and says Chris Brown should get 300,000 a show and 50,000 to go show up to your club, it's because what he's going to bring. He's going to bring every woman and their mother out. He's going to bring young dudes across the world. The way that he dances, performs, all of that's legendary, dog. Like under one umbrella,
But
that's the legend.
from what I understand is to be a legend, to be an icon, you have to inspire a generation behind you. Who
He's
in the
inspiring
music
people.
industry has who you can see Chris Brown?
Everyone.
Like who?
People who release a bunch of music, people who want to perform to all their records
But
with
here's the thing: you
new
can
dances.
see, for Michael is an icon, a legend. You can see Michael in a generation that came behind him.
But you forgot before TikTok, when someone created a dance, Chris Brown would do the dance on
Was the root of
YouTube,
it.
and people would want to copy it
He
from
said,
Chris.
"Little boys want to be Chris Brown. Are you crazy?" No, Justin
Right.
Justin wanted to be Chris Brown.
Chris Brown always did dances before TikTok,
Mhm.
and it was a thing for us to like, yo, we want to learn the Dougie from Chris Brown. We want to learn the this from Chris. Like Chris Brown used to do this all the time. I don't know where you were.
I just
Right.
see the generation that you can clearly see that he inspired to.
He had a whole era of cat daddy that was everybody wanted to be
Everybody wanted to be.
just like him. Like everybody wanted to do the cat daddy like Chris Brown. It was a whole movement. Do you not remember that?
Just musically, you know who my favorites are, and my favorite singer. My favorite singer is Brandy. Okay, Brandy is an icon, a legend back from the '90s. When I hear singers sing today, I can tell that they listen to Brandy because to be an icon and a legend, you have to inspire a generation behind you. When you hear certain things of Jasmine Sullivan, you know she studied Brandy. She listened to Brandy. She said it. Everybody, there's certain things that I,
I,
I can't give you legend because you've been here 20 years.
Hey Evans,
well,
really,
he's been here more than 20 years. Like,
it's been a long time,
He's been,
but
yeah,
well,
he has the
I can't give you legendary just because you've been here a while.
I just told you the reasons why he's legendary, and I'll list them again.
right.
But
I totally agree.
But what I want to tell you is that we can do this all day, and I want to say I appreciate you bringing me on your show today and allowing me to co-host with you. But in the words of Evans, that's my time, y'all. I have to get out of here. So if you'd like to have me back on the show, please vote. Please,
Look, maybe we have to do our own verses. T, thank you so much for joining
Yes,
us.
we definitely have to have
that's a
another
great idea.
time.
Let's have a versus one day. Go ahead,
We
T.
don't just have to have a verses. T, thank you for sharing
Yeah.
your thoughts and opinions. I knew you was gonna come over here and tussle for Chris Brown.
I
I
had to.
appreciate you, but T, you know how we do it on the Shay Show.
No, I got to get out of here, man. Again, I want to say
Absolutely.
I appreciate you, man. I've had a great time. Maybe one day we'll do this all again. And before you get to click me out of here,
No, I'm not gonna click you. I don't do my guest host like this. V, I want to thank you so much for look. We've been on here 2 hours. It don't even feel like it, and it's just how we do in real life. We have conversations.
Disclaimer, people. This is what we do every day, like hanging out on the phone and text. Like our hangouts are debates about nothing.
About nothing though.
Shout out to whoever just said something about the Tar Heels. You guys are terrible. I want to let you know that Duke, we're going to beat you guys. I believe it's on Wednesday to go to the NCAA championship game. So just wanted to point out my main host here who brought me on the show, Evans, I believe is a Duke fan. So I think we got some comment there. And we're going to kick behind on Wednesday. So
we'll see. But thank you so much, V. I appreciate you. I had a wonderful time talking. It's been 2 hours. It don't even feel like 2 hours went by. You definitely ticked me off right before the start of the show.
Here's another thing I want to bring up really fast. I was actually 2 minutes late to the show. I mean, I got here like in great time. I was only 2 minutes late. Was I late? I was, and I apologize.
No, you wasn't late because
I want to point out something about me being late. I was 2 minutes late, guys. Evans, on the other hand, has never been late to anything I've invited him to a day in his natural born life. He's late to fucking everything. He's on my top today because I'm 2 minutes late and I'm in a different time zone, which I apologize about. And this heifer has the nerve to get up here and have a dirty computer screen and shun me to death for being 2 minutes late. You know, and I just want to let you guys know I don't appreciate that. I also want to let you guys know how much I love him. I have one of the biggest pet peeves about being hung up on, and this bastard had the nerve to hang up on me today. And if I wasn't driving 100 miles per hour down the highway to get to my room on time, I would have made sure I called him back and got him. But I had to let it go so I could focus on not crashing into a wall while I was driving, to be here 2 minutes late just for this heifer to have to clean off the screen. Now, if y'all don't remember last week on the Shay Show, actually the week before that, we were all sitting here waiting for the countdown to go around a few times because he was late. You see how black people are, how they treat you when you're not on time. But
I literally called this man like less than 10 minutes before.
I'm in a different time zone. I didn't know.
I said, wait, what? What time is it? What you mean?
I'm like, yo, it's only 6:30 here. You're like, no, it's 7:30. I'm like, oh,
it's time.
But I came and I made it 2 minutes late nonetheless, and we rocked out a whole 2 hours, man.
Absolutely, V, man. I appreciate you. I can't wait to see you in person, man. I don't even remember the last time I seen you.
What do you look like anymore? I don't know. Actually, when's the last time I seen you?
I can't.
It wasn't your birthday. I've seen you since your birthday that time.
He comes down. He don't even stop by. He come on the outskirts of me and just don't even. You know, that's my friend.
I'm still waiting for him to come up north, guys.
Actually. I'm definitely coming. Ask Kay. I told her.
Actually, he went to Jersey, which isn't too far. So
he invited you to.
You know,
invited you.
I want him to come to my home. You know, my state where I live.
He's a dog now, so he in the dog pound with the bros, and I ain't mad at him. But yeah, we definitely got to connect. Hopefully, I get a chance to see you sometime this spring, summer. V, appreciate you for being on.
Appreciate y'all.
You're my family, man.
For sure.
I appreciate you taking the time to be on with me and my folks. So
anytime,
good one, man. And
all right.
Appreciate
you.
I'll talk to you later.
All right.
Yo. Thank y'all. We rocked out for 2 hours and 13 minutes, probably the longest show in the history of the Shay Show. This is our 12th episode, and I appreciate everybody for staying on so long with me. I know this is the Oscars and the Academy Awards, and everybody's doing that. I appreciate all the comments, all the shares, all the likes. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna do a co-host every month. I'm gonna have somebody come on with me one Sunday night out of the month for a while and co-host with me. So look, I'm looking forward to who's going to be on here with me next month. It's always fun. I appreciate everybody for taking the time, for sharing, for liking, for watching, for staying on. It's been so much fun. Again, shout out to V, my bro. Bring you up there. All right, Darnell, let's talk about it. We'll get you on here as my fitness expert where you could give everybody advice on how to get fit like D. We could do that. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in, for watching everything. I will see y'all next Sunday night at 8 o'clock. This is the Shay Show, and I am Shay.